Probability theory. Unit 1 consists of probability spaces, Dingin's theorem and the two constructions. Today we are discussing about probability spaces. Hope you are all familiar with the word probability and the basics of probability theory. Here we are going to learn about probability spaces. Before that, let's take a look at some of the basic terms that we have already learned and we are going to use. And the first one is sample space, random experiment and events. Hope you are all familiar with these words. And the next one is sigma algebra of subsets of a set. You have already learned about this in second semester, so I skip this. And the next and important one is measure and measurable spaces. This also you have learned in detail. So let's move on to the definition of probability spaces. A probability space is a triple omega BP where omega is the sample space corresponding to outcomes of some experiments and B is the sigma algebra of subsets of omega. These subsets are called events. And P is the probability measure. That is, P is a function with a domain B and range close to 0, 1 such that first condition is P of A greater than or equal to 0 for all A belongs to B. And P is sigma additive. That is, if A and N greater than or equal to 1 are events in B that are disjoint, then P of union N equal to 1 to infinity A N equal to summation N equal to 1 to infinity P of A N. And the last condition is P of omega equal to 1. Now let's discuss some properties of probability measure. And these are the simple consequences of the definition. Let's see the first one. P of A complement equal to 1 minus P of A. We know by the definition P of omega equal to 1. And omega is the sample space for an event A. A union A complement is equal to omega. So we can write 1 equal to P of omega and that's equal to P of A union A complement. And A complement are disjoint events. We can use the property sigma additivity of probability measure. That is, it's equal to P of A plus P of A complement. Therefore, we get P of A complement equal to 1 minus P of A. Second property is P of phi equal to 0. Since we know that phi is omega complement, therefore we can write P of phi equal to P of omega complement. And using the above property, P of omega complement equal to 1 minus P of omega. And we know that P of omega is equal to 1. Therefore, we get is equal to 0. Now, the third one is for events A, B, we have P of A union B equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. A intersection B, we can simply write it as AB. Now, for events A and B, we can write, note that A equal to A intersection B complement union A intersection B and B equal to B intersection A complement union A intersection B. This you can verify using Venn diagram. Now applying probabilities on both sides, we get P of A equal to P of AB complement union AB. Since AB complement and AB are disjoint events, we can use the property sigma additivity of probability measure. This is equal to P of AB complement plus P of AB. Similarly, we can write P of B equal to P of BA complement plus P of AB. And for the event A union B, also we can write it as P of A union B equal to P of AB complement union BA complement union AB. And these three events are disjoint events. Therefore, again we can use sigma additivity property of probability measure. Therefore, we get P of AB complement plus P of BA complement plus P of AB. And by using the above, we get P of AB complement is P of A minus P of AB. And P of BA complement is P of B minus P of AB. And plus P of AB. That is P of A minus P of AB plus P of B minus P of AB plus P of AB. Cancelling the terms. Finally, we get P of A plus P of B minus P of AB. And that's the result. P of A union B equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of AB. Let's see the fourth result, the inclusion exclusion formula. That is, if A1 etc. An are events, then P of union J equal to 1 to n Aj equal to summation J equal to 1 to n P of Aj minus summation 1 less than or equal to I less than J less than or equal to n P of Ai Aj plus summation 1 less than or equal to I less than J less than K less than or equal to n P of Ai Aj Ak minus etc. minus 1 raised to n plus 1 P of A1 A2 etc. An. Here we can use mathematical induction to prove. And the third property is the result when n equal to 2. By using the third property, try to do the rest of it yourself. That is, first prove for n equal to 3 and assume for n equal to k and so on. Next property is the monotonicity property. It is the measure P is non-decreasing. That is, for events A, B, if A subset of B, then P of A less than or equal to P of B. For this, we suppose that A is subset of B. If A is a subset of B, then we can write B as B equal to A union B minus A. Now applying probabilities on both sides, we get P of B equal to P of A plus P of B minus A. Since P of A is greater than or equal to 0 for all A belongs to B, we have P of B greater than or equal to P of A, since P of B minus A is always greater than or equal to 0. Next is subadditivity. The measure P is sigma subadditive. That is, for events n greater than or equal to 1, P of union n equal to 1 to infinity an less than or equal to summation n equal to 1 to infinity P of an. We have union n equal to 1 to infinity an equal to A1 union, A2 union, A3 etc. And this can be rewrite as union of disjoint elements. That is equal to A1 union, A2 intersection A1 complement union, A3 intersection A2 complement intersection A1 complement union etc. Since these are disjoint events, we can applying probability on both sides. We get P of union n equal to 1 to infinity an equal to P of A1 plus P of A2 intersection A1 complement plus P of A3 intersection A2 complement intersection A1 complement plus etc. Since A2 intersection A1 complement is always subset of A2 and A3 intersection A2 complement intersection A1 complement is always subset of A3, we can use the monotonicity property, which is less than or equal to P of A1 plus P of A2 plus P of A3 plus etc. And that is equal to summation n equal to 1 to infinity P of an. Therefore, we get P of union n equal to 1 to infinity an is less than or equal to summation n equal to 1 to infinity P of an. Now the continuity property of P. The measure P is continuous for monotone sequences in the sense that first one is if an increases to A where an belongs to B, then P of an increases to P of A. Second one, if an decreases to A where an belongs to B, then P of an decreases to P of A. That is continuity of P. For this, for first one, assume that A1 subset of A2, subset of A3, subset of etc., subset of An, subset of etc. Now we are going to construct a new sequence Bn in such a way that first define B1 equal to A1 and B2 equal to A2 minus A1 and etc. Bn equal to An minus 1. Then we have sequence Bi is a disjoint sequence of events, and also union I equal to 1 to n Bi is An, and union I equal to 1 to infinity Bi equal to union over I Ai, and that's equal to A since increasing sequence have limit is union. Now consider P of A. P of A equal to P of union I equal to 1 to infinity Bi, and applying sigma additivity we get is equal to summation I equal to 1 to infinity P of Bi, and which is equal to limit n tends to infinity summation I equal to 1 to n P of Bi, and arrow mark indicates that it is an increasing limit. And again applying sigma additivity we get is equal to limit n tends to infinity P of union Bi, and that is equal to limit n tends to infinity P of An. That is P of An increases to P of A. Now we want to prove second one, that is An decreases to A, P of An decreases to P of A. Let's see, if An decreases to A, then An complement is increases to A complement. Now we can apply the part 1, that is P of An complement increases to P of A complement. P of An complement is 1 minus P of An, that is increases to 1 minus P of A, and which implies minus P of An increases to minus P of A, and which implies P of An decreases to P of A. Therefore we get P of An decreases to P of A. Now concluding 1 and 2, continuity of P can be written as if A is the limit n tends to infinity An, then P of A equal to limit n tends to infinity P of An. That is P of limit n tends to infinity An equal to limit n tends to infinity P of An. That is P and limit are interchangeable. But this result is only for monotone sequences, that is either decreasing or increasing sequences. But we have more continuity, that is our next property, more continuity and Farter's lemma. Farter's lemma you have already learned in measure theory. Here we have the same result, but the only difference is we use probability measure here. Let's see the result. Suppose An belongs to B for n greater than or equal to 1. First one is Farter's lemma. We have the following inequalities. P of limit infimum An less than or equal to limit infimum of P of An. That is less than or equal to limit n tends to infinity supremum of P of An. That is less than or equal to P of limit supremum An. That is our Farter's lemma here. Now the second property is if An converges to A, then P of An converges to P of A. Note that here we use any An belongs to B for n greater than or equal to 1. Now to prove the first property, we have a result And this result is basic from measure theory. If you have any doubt, read the first chapter of our prescribed textbook. Let's see the result. For a sequence AN greater than or equal to 1, we have infimum k greater than or equal to n, an equal to intersection k equal to n to infinity ak, and supremum k greater than or equal to n, an equal to union k equal to n to infinity ak. Now limit infimum an equal to limit n tends to infinity infimum k greater than or equal to n ak, and that is equal to limit n tends to infinity intersection k greater than or equal to n ak. And for limit supremum an equal to limit supremum k greater than or equal to n ak, and that is equal to limit n tends to infinity union k greater than or equal to n ak. Now for the proof, consider P of limit infimum an equal to P of limit n tends to infinity infimum k greater than or equal to n ak, and that is equal to P of limit n tends to infinity intersection k greater than or equal to n ak. Put it as equation 1, and where the sequence intersection k equal to n to infinity ak is an increasing sequence. Now we can apply property 7, that is continuity of P. We get P of limit infimum limit intersection k greater than or equal to n ak equal to limit of P of intersection k greater than or equal to n ak. Put it as 2. Now we have intersection k equal to n to infinity ak is a subset of an for all k equal to n, n plus 1, etc. Therefore, we can apply monotonicity of P, that is P of intersection k equal to n to infinity ak less than or equal to P of an for all n, n plus 1, etc. Therefore, which implies P of intersection k equal to n to infinity ak is always less than or equal to its infimum, that is less than or equal to infimum k greater than or equal to n P of ak. From 1 and 2, we get P of limit infimum an equal to P of limit intersection k greater than or equal to n ak, and that is equal to limit n tends to infinity P of intersection k greater than or equal to n ak, that is less than or equal to limit infimum k greater than or equal to n P of ak, that is limit infimum P of an, and which is always less than or equal to limit supremum of P of an. Now we want to prove the second inequality, that is we want to prove limit supremum P of an less than or equal to P of limit supremum an. For that, consider P of limit supremum an, that is equal to P of limit n tends to infinity supremum k greater than or equal to n ak, and that is equal to P of limit n tends to infinity union k equal to n to infinity ak. Put it as equation 3, and where the sequence union k equal to n to infinity ak is a decreasing sequence. Then also we can again apply property 7, that is continuity of P. We have P of limit union ak is equal to limit of P of union ak. Put it as equation 4. Now we have union k equal to n to infinity ak contains an for all k equal to n, n plus 1, etc. Then again apply monotonicity of P. We get P of union ak greater than or equal to P of an for all n, n plus 1, etc. Therefore, it is greater than its supremum, that is, which implies P of union ak greater than or equal to supremum k greater than or equal to n P of ak. Now from the above equations 3 and 4, we get P of limit supremum an equal to P of limit union k greater than or equal to n ak, and that is equal to limit n tends to infinity P of union k greater than or equal to n ak, and that is greater than or equal to limit n tends to infinity supremum k greater than or equal to n p of ak, and that is equal to limit supremum p of an. That is limit n tends to infinity supremum p of an less than or equal to p of limit n tends to infinity supremum an. Now we want to prove the second property, that is for any an. Suppose an converges to a, then we can write a as a equal to limit n tends to infinity an. If limit exists, then limit supremum and limit infimum is equal to that limit. Therefore we can write it's equal to limit supremum an and that is equal to limit infimum an. Therefore p of a equal to p of limit infimum an, and that is less than or equal to limit infimum of p of an, and which is less than or equal to limit supremum of p of an, and that is less than or equal to p of limit supremum an, and that is equal to p of a. And consider the middle inequalities which become equality. Therefore we get limit supremum p of an equal to limit infimum p of an equal to p of a. That is p of a equal to limit n tends to infinity p of an. That is p of an converges to p of a. That's all about the properties of p. Let's move on to the next definition, that is probability distribution function. A function f from R to close to 0, 1 satisfying first condition f is right continuous, and the second one is f is monotone non-decreasing, and the third one is f has limits at plus or minus infinity. That is f of infinity equal to limit x increases to infinity f of x, and that is equal to 1. F of minus infinity equal to limit x decreases to minus infinity f of x equal to 0. And this f is called a distribution function or probability distribution function. Let's see an example. That is, let omega equal to r, and suppose p is a probability measure on r. R is real number system, and define capital F of x by f of x equal to p of open closed interval minus infinity x, x belongs to r. Then f is a distribution function. Note that here omega is real number system. Therefore the sigma algebra here is the Borel algebra or Borel field that you have already learned. And you know that the elements of the sigma algebra B are sigma algebra or Borel algebra. Borel algebra B are some types of intervals in R that are called Borel subsets of R. That's why here we used the interval open minus infinity closed to x for x belongs to R. Okay, for the proof, first one, to prove f is right continuous, we have to prove if xn decreases to x, then f of xn decreases to f of x. First suppose that xn decreases to x. Then we have the interval minus infinity closed xn decreases to minus infinity closed x. And applying probability, we have by continuity of p, p of minus infinity xn decreases to p of minus infinity x closed x by the property continuity, which implies f of xn decreases to f of x. Now we want to prove the second one, that is f is monotone non-decreasing. This we want to prove if x less than y, then f of x less than or equal to f of y. For that, suppose if x less than y, then we have the interval open minus infinity x is contained in open minus infinity close to y. Applying monotonicity of P, we get P of interval minus infinity close to x less than or equal to P of open minus infinity close to y by the monotonicity of P, and which implies f of x less than or equal to f of y. Therefore, the second property. Now the third property is f of infinity equal to limit xn increases to infinity f of xn. We want to prove that this is equal to 1, and this is equal to limit xn increases to infinity p of interval minus infinity close to xn, and that is equal to p of xn increases to infinity minus infinity close to xn by the continuity of p, and that is equal to p of union over n the interval minus infinity close to xn. Now taking the union of these intervals over n, we get p of the interval minus infinity infinity, and open minus infinity infinity is r itself, therefore it is equal to p of r, and r is our omega, and it is equal to p of omega, and that is equal to 1. And now for the second one, f of minus infinity equal to limit xn decreases to minus infinity f of xn, and that is equal to limit xn decreases to minus infinity p of interval minus infinity close to xn, and that is p of limit xn decreases to minus infinity open minus infinity close to xn by the continuity of p, and that is equal to p of intersection over n open minus infinity close to xn. Now taking the intersection of these intervals over n, we get it's equal to p of phi, and that is equal to 0. Hence the three properties of f. Therefore f given is a probability distribution function.